So the plan is to throw a one-piece box on the wheel using porcelain. The standard centering. So the porcelain is coned up. And then compressed down. Coned up, pressed down. With a little bit of practice, you can actually feel how centered or uncentered the clay is. So I'm creating a box, so I want something fairly flat to start with. Slightly slower wheel head. You notice my thumb is over the top of my fingers just to give it a little bit of additional control. When I pulled it out to the width I want the box interior to be, now I will compress the base, running my fingers backwards and forwards multiple times. It's particularly important with porcelain, which is fairly problematic in this regard. So that should be enough of that. Then we bring the exterior wall back in and slow the wheel down again. By bringing it in, I've given myself a little shelf. So that just gives the very first pull. Another little shelf with the external fingers. So the pull is from the outside and controlled from the interior. So I'm pulling toward the middle. I want to create a piece that's coming in. Now I pulled it out slightly too far, so I do what is called throttling the clay. General dry interior and exterior. Did too good a job on the inside. So now I'm pulling towards the middle, less about pulling off clay and more about bringing it in towards the centre. There we go. So the top of the box will be somewhere around there. This shoulder will become the top of the box. There's still a little bit of liquid on the inside, so I use a sponge attached to the end of a brush to get to the bits that I can't reach. It has a double use. One, it removes any extra water at the bottom. You don't want to leave fluid sitting around inside the box, because that will come back to bite you later. Now I can use the sponge to push outwards at the bottom, and the plastic kidney thingy, whatever you call it, on the outside to control the outside of the piece. I must find out what that plastic thingy, what it is actually called. And we continue to pull in this top edge. If you do it too quickly, it collapses. Let's remove a little bit of that extra clay off the top. Excuse me not talking, but there's not a lot to say at the moment. Now, just before you completely close up the top, I use this sort of wooden tool to remove any extra slip water from the inside. If it's too much on that inside edge, you will have cracking on the inside of the box when it's completed. Okay, so it's now completely sealed. I now have a balloon of porcelain, which means I can apply pressure to the outside, and rather than collapse, the balloon, the air inside will help to support it. Now I finish shaping the top, and remove extra slip and water. I'll probably leave that central knob until it's a little bit drier. Okay, so I now have a completed box. However, unless it has a lid, it's not much use. So I use the same tool that I used before. It's got a square edge. I've just wet it, and pressed in gently with the wheel turning. This creates the lip and gallery, which will later become, above the line will be the lid, below will be the box itself. There we go. Now later on, when it's leather hard, I'll go back in. I've got a very sharp knife. It's close to being scalpel, and that will be cut up just underneath this top edge here and cut upwards. That will release the lid and leave the base as a separate piece. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much.